This is Patrick, Comics and Collectibles, soon to be Hobbies and Habits. And what we have here today are the projects I am currently working on, actively working on, or some of them are just prep. I'm prepping some of them for work to be done on them. So I want to go over these and let you know the current status on each one. Please overlook this stool right here with the stuff in it. Just pretend it's not there. That is to protect that Cornage figure right there in case it falls. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. All right, let's start with the skull base. I've really been into bases lately, specifically skull bases and red bases, and also just designing and making my own bases. But this one here, I did not make this one or design this one. This was printed for me by my 3D guy. And let's talk briefly about this. All right, folks, if you decide to get this base, let me warn you, this thing is dangerous. So if you get it, be careful. Now, what I mean is these horns, I think these are horns right here. These things are really dangerous and they will poke you, and ask me how I know. All right. And they go all the way around the base. As you can see, I've been poked by these things several times. So be careful with these if you get this base. This is a cool base. As a matter of fact, this base was part of a model, and I didn't get the figure itself. I just wanted the base. The base just looks so cool because of the overall design of it and because of the skulls. Like I said, I'm into this skull thing. Majority of the bases that come out now have skulls on them. So I figured, hey, let me find out what this is all about. And skulls are cool. I like them. Now, you're probably wondering what's going on with the toothpicks. I filled this with resin the other day. The bottom part of the base, and this, when I get to this project, I'll show you more about it, but I won't try to take it apart now. But this bottom part is, I guess, 3/4 filled with resin. This top part is less than maybe 1/4 full. I gotta fill it some more. Now, back to the toothpicks. While filling this with resin, I discovered there were some holes in some parts of the base, and where you see toothpicks, that's where I discovered some holes. And there's a couple of other areas I can't show you right now. I think there's a couple of others, but I can't point them out right now. But so I'll put the toothpicks here to show me where I need to fill these holes with something. I don't know what I'm going to fill it with. Maybe some hot glue, maybe some glue. I'm not sure. But before I can finish filling this with resin, I have to plug up these holes so it doesn't drip out. If you worked with resin before, you know that stuff, if it finds any little hole, is going to come out of it. So I have to fill these up first. Let me see. But this is a good base. I love this. And I have broke a few pieces off, but again, I'll talk more about that when I get to this project. But cool base right there. All right, let's talk about skulls. This is something that I'm working on. This is my own little project I came up with. I was thinking, you know, a lot of times these symbiotes, they have human-shaped heads, and I realize that they are part of, I guess, part human, or they have this symbiosis with humans. So I guess that explains the human-looking head. But I was thinking, some of these things. Okay, let's talk about Cornage. Let's use him for example. These are alien creatures. Emphasis on creatures. And I got my own idea of what I think they would look like or should look like. I know I can't redesign these characters created by Marvel, but this is fan art. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they should have an elongated head. All right. And so based on that, I've been working on this symbiote skull. And I think it would be elongated, similar to this. Now, this was my first, that was my second attempt. Hold on, let's go to this one. This was my first attempt right here. And I think it turned out pretty good except for the teeth. I don't like the way the teeth look. They're too thick. They should be thinner. And they just don't look right. I think they're a little too long also. I might come back at a later date and try to save this, but for now, that's it. I'm going to leave this alone. And this was my second attempt right here. I did make the teeth smaller and I tried to make them sharper, but that didn't work out either. So this project is on hold for right now. I will get around to it eventually and try to finish it. All right, let's talk about Cornish here. All right, the reason that the stool is here is because I'm presently working on magnets in the feet to hold him in place. Hold on, folks. My dog over here want to go out. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Let me see, where was I? Okay, yeah, I am working on magnets in the feet. And I don't feel too comfortable with those magnets. So in case it falls over, I wanted something soft for it to fall on. Now, what I've done with this one, I have filled it, I guess 90%, maybe 85% with resin. There's resin in the blade arm right here, resin in the legs, in the torso, and the other arm. And there's a little bit of resin in the head. I didn't want the head to get too heavy and make the figure top heavy. So there's quite a bit of hot glue in the head also. Reinforced, you know what, I'm not gonna get into that. When I get to this project, I'll talk more about the details. But that's it. Okay, hold on, one more thing I wanna point out. I'm working on this base. This part here, I need a pointer. I don't have a pointer. Okay, this part right here, this was an actual base that came with another statue, but I had no use for it, so I decided to use it on this figure right here. And this is what I'm working on. I'm trying to build this platform for his other foot to stand on. All right, and that's it for that one. Okay, let's talk about this one. This one is on hold, folks. This is just, I haven't figured out how to do the teeth yet. So once I figure that out, I will continue working on this one, but that one is on hold. I've had that one for quite a while, but I don't want to rush it just to try to finish it and then I'll screw it up. So that one is on hold. Let's talk about this one. I've had this one for a while also. This is going to be a character from the Many Colored Land series of books. And I really don't know what the holdup is on this one. I think I got overwhelmed with all the other figures and I just put this one to the side and it's been on hold for a long time. So I will get back to that one. Let me see what else. All right, let's talk about this one. This is another one that's been giving me problems. First, it was the color. I was trying to get the colors right because this character is mostly red and white with a little bit of black. And I'm still trying to figure out the right look for the torso area as far as the white parts. I don't quite have the right look, so I'm still working on that one. Let me see. I finally got this part. I was having problems with the feet because it was leaning over, and so I finally figured out how to get that corrected. And so now it is the hair. I don't want to turn it around and have it fall over, so I'll have to do my best from here. The hair, I've tried everything to make this hair look natural. Let's get a 4-out view here. I wanted the hair to come down and partially wrap around the lower body. The original model, the hair stopped right about there. Can you see my finger? Right about there. So I extended it, take two. So I extended the hair using wire, some plaster. Was it plaster? No, it was hot glue. Then I tried some clay, this brownish red stuff. And I used some other, what do you call this? Foam clay, I think, the white stuff. I've tried everything, but I just can't do the hair, folks. So what I'm probably going to do is just cut it off right here where it originally was and go with that. But I'm still working on that one. Let me see what's next. Okay, this one is just about done. I think I'm going to do one more coating of gloss and call this one done. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's about it for this one. Yeah. Okay, and this one, I've done some preliminary work on this. I won't talk much about it because I just did a video on it recently, but I put some clay on here to fill in some of these areas that I don't need. And I'll talk more about that one when I get to that project. But this is currently everything I'm working on right here, folks. No, hold on, wait, I lied. There's actually one more in my garage. So I have quite a few things to keep me busy. If you're interested in any of these, make sure you stay tuned, come back, check it out. I'll get around to each one of them eventually. One more thing, and then I'll wrap this up. The warm weather is coming, so that means I'll be able to get out in my garage again and do some work out there. I will be working on another life-size model, and that's going to be, you know what, I won't say a lot about it, but if you saw the Queen mannequin that I showed in the video months ago, that's what I'll be working on. It's going to be life-size, so make sure you come back for that. That should be interesting. That's going to be the second life-size character or project that I've done. I'm looking forward to that. I think in another month or so, when the weather gets nice and warm, I can get out in my garage and get started on it. So I've got to get some of these wrapped up before that happens, because that's going to occupy a lot of time. All right, folks, that's about it. Let me get this thumbnail shot, and I'm going to call this a wrap. Let me see. Perfect shot here. You know what? I'm going to move some of these out of the way and get something that will really capture the eyeballs when someone sees the thumbnail. Hold on. Be right back. That might be a nice shot right there. Hold on. That might work. No, I want that skull base in here. All right. Be right back. All right, folks, that's it. Hopefully I can get a thumbnail shot out of that. Thank you for watching the video, and thank you for your continued support. Bye.